Hey everyone, it's Lauren and I'm so excited to have you here today. Today we're going to be talking about how I like to keep a healthy relationship with social media, and I'll be sharing my tips with you guys. So without further ado, let's get into it. So truthfully, I really feel like a lot of issues with social media, at least for me, a lot of them stem from comparison and comparing ourselves to others, our bodies, our lifestyle, our families, our friends. Comparison is really like the common factor that I find a lot of people struggle with. So this can actually be demonstrated through a quote by Theodore Roosevelt, and it goes, "Comparison is the thief of joy," which I truly believe. Like, if I'm scrolling through my feed and I just continually compare myself to other people, I definitely start to get down on myself. I ask, why am I not working out as often as them? Why doesn't my body look like that? Why am I not having fun? Why am I not traveling? Why am I like, it's so difficult to keep up with everything if all you're doing is constantly comparing yourself to others, and it gets really exhausting. So a lot of my tips today are to talk about how you can stop comparing yourself to others on social media and just really owning yourself and what you have to offer. So my first tip, which is a pretty popular one now, I guess, is just stop following accounts that make you feel unhappy or that you don't care about. Like, if you are following this one girl from your elementary school from grade 8, and looking at her stuff doesn't make you happy, it doesn't mean that she's a bad person or that she's doing something wrong. It just means you either just don't really care to keep up with her life, or she's posting something that's making you unhappy. It's okay to unfollow that person. And again, it's nothing against that person, it's just what you need to do for yourself. For example, for me, I stopped following a lot of fitness influencers, just because one, a lot of them don't have my body type, so it's really hard for me to continually compare myself to somebody when we don't even have a similar body type, right? So if that's not even possible for me to achieve, that is really frustrating. So that is one reason. And the second reason is that a lot of these fitness influencers promote fad diets and fitness plans, which aren't great for anyone, but especially for athletes. For me, I train my body to become strong, not for the purpose of how it looks. So I think that that's something that fitness influencers really talk about. It's more about how your body looks instead of functionality. So that's another reason why I chose to unfollow a lot of fitness influencers. So that's definitely the first step. Go through everybody you're following and unfollow anybody that makes you unhappy or you don't really care to see anymore. So my second tip is definitely going off the last one. So instead of following accounts that make you unhappy, start following accounts that do make you happy. Follow people that you relate to, that talk about ideas that you're passionate about, that you can learn from. I also learned recently that you can follow hashtags. So you can type in keywords about things that make you feel happy or things that you want to learn about, and you follow those hashtags, and then posts from those hashtags will come up in your feed a few times a day. And for me, I personally love it because I am able to curate my feed to the type of stuff that I like. I made sure that I got rid of anything that I just don't really care about and that I don't want to see, and I've replaced it with something that makes me happy, that I can learn from. So that's been really important for me as well. My third tip is to use social media as a resource. For me, if I go on Instagram and I start aimlessly scrolling, I don't know, for me that's not that entertaining. I like to see things that I'm drawn to, that I relate to, and so I make sure that I actually follow people who are going to educate me on the topics that I really enjoy. So very similar to my last point about following hashtags that make you happy and people that you can relate to. A lot of people don't realize that there are a lot of resources on social media that you can learn so much from, and you can handpick. If you're not interested in one topic, then you don't need to go and search for it, right? So what's so nice is that you can curate your own feed and personalize what you want to learn about. So I think for me, if I'm just scrolling through Instagram with no purpose, for me that's kind of a good reflection point, because then I'm sitting back and saying, I actually want to be learning. So what can I do to make sure that I'm getting more content on my page that I can learn from, and that makes me feel good. Now, as much as we can learn from social media, we can also educate others. So when you learn something or you see a post that's super interesting, like you have the ability to repost that. Like I'm super active. I repost a lot of things specifically related to like mental health and women's rights. Like those are two things that are really important to me. And I'm sure if you're following me, you definitely know that I post a lot about that. So as much as we can learn from resources on social media, we ourselves can be a resource, and we can spread positive information and make sure that we're also not spreading misinformation. So I'm not too sure what to call tip number 4. I think they're just things that I like to keep in mind when I am looking at other people's social media feeds in order to prevent myself from comparing or making false assumptions about someone. 1, people choose what they post, and 2, a picture is not an accurate representation of someone's body. So I'm going to explain both these things a little bit more with some pictures that I actually took of myself. So in this first picture, I'm standing straight on and I'm wearing really tight workout clothing. I'm not posing, my posture is not great, there's no filters or editing on it. You can see stomach rolls, my hip dips. There's also unflattering shadows, like you can't really tell where my legs start. So I think it's pretty safe to say this is not a very flattering photo of me. Now, if you look at this second picture that I took, literally 2 minutes after the first one, I look sculpted, like it looks like I have abs, I have a nice bum, you can see my boobs. This is edited, I'm posing, I'm sucking in tremendously, like it actually hurt to suck in that much. Basically, by these two pictures side by side, what I'm trying to explain is 1, I think most people would post the second picture, not the first picture. So I always try and keep in mind that a lot of people take 100 pictures just to get one that they feel like they look good in, where they're forcing a specific posture, or forcing themselves to look a certain way. So that's one that I always like to keep in mind. And 2, the reason I say that pictures are not an accurate representation of somebody's body is because our bodies are dynamic and they're always moving, and a picture is static. You're taking a snapshot at one point in time, but our bodies aren't there to look perfect in one specific point. So when I look at pictures of people, I always try and remember that my body is always in motion, and a picture is not an accurate representation of what my body looks like and how I feel about my body. Actually, for my birthday, like I recently just posted a picture, and in the second picture, like I posted one and then I posted a second one, like in the little swipe thing. And in the second one, I actually looked at it and I was like, I feel like I look fat in this picture. I don't know if I should post this or not. And I really liked my smile and how happy I looked in the picture. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna post it because I look happy and this was a happy moment. And I'm happy that the picture was able to capture that. And I'm not going to allow myself to start thinking negatively about my body in one picture. That's not a true representation of everything my body does for me. And my last tip number 5, is to post things that make you feel happy.
And I forgot to mention, post pictures of you actually happy.
I know that's super similar to literally everything I just said, but curating your feed to make you happy is one thing, and posting pictures of you happy is a completely different thing that takes a lot of confidence. Like I said about that picture on my birthday, I looked at that picture and I said, wow, I look so happy and I had so much fun in this moment. That's how I was able to overcome me feeling that I looked fat or whatever, or any negative feelings about it, because I knew that I was really happy in that moment, and that's what I wanted to portray on my social media account. And if you scroll through my account, like there are pictures where like I'm not wearing makeup, my hair's not done, like I'm kind of all over the place, but I love that picture so much. I'm either like with my friends or I'm smiling, and posting those honestly make me feel really happy, because I'm glad that what I'm showcasing on my account is me being happy and me not forcing myself to look a certain way. That to me has been a really big change, because I know that, especially as girls, like you feel a specific pressure to post certain things. But if you post a picture of yourself where you're genuinely happy, I just don't seem to care as much about who likes it or who comments on it. And especially I love posting pictures of myself playing volleyball, because me playing volleyball makes me feel like my most powerful self. And so portraying that on my social media really makes me feel happy, and I really don't care how many people like or comment on it or say whatever, but I just know that I'm putting out pictures of myself that I know are from moments that I was really happy. So those were my 5 tips on how I keep a positive relationship with social media. I really hope that you were able to take at least one tip from this entire video, and I'm so thankful that you've watched all the way through. If you have any more questions or you want to talk to me more about anything I said, always feel free to reach out to me over Instagram. It's just at Lauren Pastor, all lowercase. And yeah, so with that said, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys soon. Bye!